Polyphenols get sold like a secret code. Drink this shot, take this capsule, unlock your gut and inflammation. But they are also just in coffee, berries, cocoa, tea, herbs, olive oil, and vegetables. So what are we actually talking about? A nutrient, a drug-like compound, or a sign that someone eats a wide range of plants?
That last option is the safest starting point. Polyphenols are not essential like vitamin C. There is no classic deficiency disease. They are thousands of plant chemicals, including flavonoids, anthocyanins, still beans like resveratrol, and phenolic acids like chlorogenic acid. In real life, you do not eat a purified taxonomy. You eat a meal, and the polyphenols arrive bundled with fiber, minerals, fats, caffeine, sugars, and other phytochemicals.
When people say polyphenols are antioxidants, I picture little compounds floating around, neutralizing sparks. Is that still the main story? Or does the body change them so much that the label antioxidant becomes too simple?
Exactly. The old story was direct antioxidant chemistry. The newer story is exposure and signaling. Some polyphenols are absorbed in the small intestine, modified by the liver, and excreted. A large share reaches the colon, where microbes split, reduce, and transform them into smaller phenolic metabolites. That means two people can eat the same berries and generate different internal exposures, partly because their microbiomes differ. And the mechanisms are plausible, not mystical. Reviews describe effects on inflammatory signaling, endothelial function, oxidative stress enzymes, and immune pathways. But a mechanism is not the same as a clinical win. If a supplement lowers one cytokine for 2 hours, that is interesting. It does not automatically mean fewer heart attacks, better mood, or longer life.
So if someone wants the upside without pretending they are dosing a medicine, what foods make the most sense? Are we talking about chasing the highest polyphenol number or building plant variety that someone can actually repeat every week?
Repeatable variety is the better target. And here is the first boundary. Food exposure and concentrated extracts are not equivalent. A cup of coffee, a serving of berries or cocoa in food comes with normal portion limits. Capsules can compress unusual doses, add caffeine or piperine-like absorption enhancers, and create interactions that the original food would not predict.
What about the heart health angle? I saw a trial in people with coronary artery disease using anthocyanin-rich dried fruits. Did that move the kind of markers patients would actually care about?
It moved a real biomarker, but not the whole dashboard. 63 post-angioplasty patients completed 8 weeks. The fruit group had higher urinary polyphenol excretion, which suggests exposure happened, and plasma uric acid dropped compared with control. But inflammatory markers, glycemic indices, cholesterol efflux, and most lipids did not significantly change. So the honest read is, promising metabolic signal, not proof of broad cardiovascular protection. The sports trials show the same pattern. Targeted signals, small samples. In exertional heat stress, 14 runners used a polyphenol-rich sugarcane beverage and gel. There was lower pre-exercise IFABP, attenuated IL-8, and lower average gut symptom severity, but rectal temperature and physiological strain were higher. That is not a simple performance or safety victory. It is a mixed stress response result. Another crossover trial used coffee cherry extract in trained cyclists. 200 milligrams caffeine plus 15 milligrams polyphenols. Work in the first-time trial was about 4.6% higher, and perceived exertion was lower, but glycogen resynthesis did not improve. Also, with caffeine in the product, you cannot hand all the credit to polyphenols.
That makes me wonder about responder stories. If a volleyball player swears pomegranate juice helped soreness, do we dismiss that because the group average was null? Or do individual response analyses actually matter here?
Individual response matters, but it should not become a blank check. These were small, trained athlete studies with specific products, timing, and stress tests. A weekend exerciser, a person with heart disease, or someone using stimulants may not get the same risk-benefit trade. For sports supplements, I would also care about third-party testing, caffeine dose, stomach tolerance, and whether the product changes heat safety behavior.
Some claims go way beyond heart markers or exercise. Hair regrowth, liver cancer, stress resilience. Which of those deserves attention, and which should make viewers slow down before they mentally upgrade polyphenols into treatment?
The hair review is interesting because it pooled randomized, blinded trials and found improvements in hair density and area hair count. But with substantial heterogeneity, that means selected formulations may be adjuncts, not universal cures. The liver cancer chlorogenic acid review is mostly preclinical. Cells and animal models, mechanistic pathways, unknown clinical efficacy. The stress resilience paper is a protocol, so it tells us rigorous testing is coming, not that the preparation works.
Who should not freestyle with concentrated polyphenols? I am thinking pregnancy, cancer treatment, blood thinners, liver disease, surgery, or people replacing prescribed hair loss or heart medicines because a product sounds natural.
That is the clean finish. Use polyphenols as a compass, not a cure. If your baseline diet is low in plant foods, the highest return move is adding repeatable variety. Berries or cherries, beans, greens, herbs, tea or coffee if tolerated, cocoa without turning it into dessert math. If you test a product, define the target first. Soreness, uric acid, hair density, or exercise output. Recheck the relevant marker or symptom and abandon the claim if the promised outcome is vague.